Mike McGarry was at the Phillies marathon press conferences yesterday. His appearance is brought to you by Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, serving South Jersey since 1911. Keep your home comfort game day ready this season. A lot to break down with Mike McGarry, of course, who has been around this Phillies team all season long. We got plenty to discuss right now on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. And Mike, there was a lot there. 50 minutes of Dave Dombrowski, another 40 minutes or so from Rob Thompson, and some of the takeaways, obviously. There's a ton of them, but let's start with the fact the messaging sounded like to a lot of fans that they are very content with this team and wouldn't be adverse to running it back. Is that the feel that you got?
Yeah, that is definitely the feel that I got, Mike. And honestly, you look at how the playoffs have unfolded since the Phillies were eliminated by the Dodgers. You look at the Dodgers, I think, 8-1 now in the playoffs, up 3-0 on the Milwaukee Brewers. I am fine with the Phillies taking their approach of incremental changes and basically, quote unquote, running it back next season. I don't know why, unless you lose Schwarber or you lose Realmuto, why you would consider blowing this up. Because to me, when you look at the playoffs, what are the Phillies? The second best team in baseball, maybe the third best team in baseball. Why would you blow that up?
That's a good question. You're 96 wins. You're right there, and you were missing Bader in these playoffs. You were missing Wheeler, but wasn't that the messaging yesterday? A lot of excuses. Well, this happened and that happened, and we're missing that guy. And the umpire apologized to us. It felt like they were making a lot of excuses for their losses.
Yeah, I agree with that. The umpire apologizing for that strike call against Christopher Sanchez, that just, that just gets me. I feel overall the Phillies, it seems like the whole Philly organization, from TV, radio, down to everything, is too focused on balls and strike calls. There's 200 pitches in a game. The guy's going to miss one or two. Just because he misses a pitch doesn't mean, and a guy walks, doesn't mean you have to fall apart the rest of the inning. So I agree with you there, with your point there. But I think what they were trying to say is, hey, basically the series with the Dodgers, who are the defending World Series champions, 8-1 in the playoffs right now, and at the very least they're going to make back-to-back World Series appearances here. I think they're trying to say they were 3 or 4 plays away from maybe beating the Dodgers, and that's why they're not going to completely break it up. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, they played the Dodgers tougher than the Brewers have played them so far. And, are the Dodgers better? Yes. But that doesn't mean I think you go back to square one if you're the Phillies. I think you try to get incrementally younger and better, which is what I feel they're going to try to do this offseason.
See, this is where I think they're in a tough spot, Mike. And what you're saying and what they're saying is not, wrong. Like, hey, we're right there. We're not the worst team. We're right there with the best team. And if a throw's here, he mentioned his Sosa hits a ball on the nose and it's a couple feet to the left, it goes to the gap and, all that stuff. He's not wrong. The problem becomes, in my mind, see if you agree or disagree, running it back sounds great in theory if you're a bunch of 27-year-olds and you're right there. But now you're teetering on, am I getting the same 56 home runs? Am I getting the same, level of player from JT Realmuto? Am I getting the same player that I got from Trey Turner? Am I even, and we could talk more about what he said about Bryce Harper. It doesn't sound like he thinks Bryce Harper's ready to be a 35-homer, 300 guy anytime soon. So you're running it back because you're right there now. But what about next year, a year older? That's where they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The team is getting older. There's a lot of talk about the proverbial window, but that's where you try to get younger and stay on top at the same time. Now, that is a balancing act that a lot of franchises try to pull off, and, some are successful, some are not. The Dodgers are successful at it. The Yankees are successful at it. Now we're going to see if the Phillies can be successful at it. Mike, I think you're going to see Andrew Painter in the starting rotation next year. I think you're going to see Justin Crawford as the starting left or center fielder next year. And I think at some point next year, you're going to see Aiden Miller, somewhere on the left side of the infield here. So those are three highly touted prospects that we've heard about for all seasons. We've heard that Andrew Painter is a can't-miss guy, one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. I think you have to expect them to sort of find their way into the lineup and help you get better and younger. But at the same time, you keep the core because, Mike, I hear some things, trade Trey Turner, trade Bryce Harper, don't sign this guy, don't sign that guy. Who's playing first base for the Phillies next year if you don't have Bryce Harper? Who's playing shortstop? Who's hitting 56 home runs if you don't bring back Kyle Schwarber? I just think fans are too overreactive. This team is close to winning a World Series. This team went toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. To break it up and risk going back to, what it was from 2012 to 2021, to me is crazy. To me, this is a team that you still take your best shot with, for next season. And you hope the younger players come in and give you an infusion of life and extend the window out as the core gets a little older.
Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com. You wrote about what Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson said about Bryce Harper's future. So what did you make of that? Because some people are making it like, whoa, he really said that about Bryce Harper?
Yeah, I just think he was being honest, Mike. I give Dombrowski credit. I know some people have said, were they trying to challenge, lay down a marker for Bryce Harper? I just think they were being honest. The guy had a good season. He did not have a Bryce Harper type elite season, and he is 33 years old. And we are going to see, is he going to be a guy who can get back to the level where he was in 2022 or 2021? Or is he going to be the Bryce Harper of last season and the season before, a guy who has been impacted, I believe, by some injuries? One of the things, Mike, is they say he's 100% healthy. The wrist hasn't bothered him. I find that hard to believe. I don't know anything about hitting a baseball. I can't hit a baseball, but I do know you need your wrist to do it. They're a key part. And if you have a sore wrist, it's going to impact your swing. The guy hit 27 home runs this year in 132 games. If he plays 18 more games and is healthy enough to do that, that's 150 games. He probably hits 30, 32, 33 home runs. That's still pretty good. So he might not be the Bryce Harper of 4 or 5 years ago. Can he regain that form? Dombrowski was saying time will tell, but I still think he's a pretty elite player. I mean, he's a first baseman who hit 27 home runs, and he's also a Gold Glove finalist. How many of those guys exist in baseball? You can count them on one hand.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot of people, when you have Bryce Harper for those first 5 years, this is the fun part. Now, the back end, you're starting to wonder, am I going to get that same guy? And it sounded like Dave Dombrowski is wondering the same thing as well. He did say that the infield is intact. Are you buying that?
At 3 spots, I am. I'm buying Bryce Harper at first base. I'm buying Bryson Stott at second base. I'm buying Trey Turner at shortstop. I think third base is one of those wiggle room positions that if you're looking to make a trade, you're looking to upgrade this team. I mean, Alec Boehm is a guy you can trade, and that would open up third base, whether you go get a third baseman. If you don't sign Kyle Schwarber, if another team comes in and bowls him over with an offer and he walks, do you then go sign an Alex Bregman as a free agent and stick him at third base? Do you maybe go with Edmundo Sosa and Otto Kemp at third base while you wait for Aiden Miller to be arrive and mature in July of next year, June, July of next year? So I buy it at 3 of the spots. I think third base, again, is a position that they can look to upgrade or look to deal with.
Obviously, the outfield, they got some decisions. Crawford, it sounds like it's going to be here, center or left. I guess that matters what happens with Bader. Sounds like Castellanos will be gone. Dombrowski did admit he had to get involved in that whole situation between him and Thompson. So Crawford, Bader, what's in your mind? What vibe did you get on Bader from yesterday?
Yeah, I think they're going to be cautious with Bader. As I think I said the other day when we talked, I'm a little worried about Harrison Bader, coming in because, he's coming off a career year. I mean, he had an outstanding year. Now, they'll say he made some adjustments. Are those adjustments going to carry over the next season? But I'm always worried about signing a guy to a deal off a career year. However, if I can get Harrison Bader back at a reasonable price, I'd probably do it because that enables me them to maybe include Brandon Marsh in a trade deal or something like that. Or do you put Brandon Marsh in left and put Crawford in right, in center field rather? Either way you look at it, I think Jordan Crawford's going to be in the outfielder at center or left field, and you're going to have a new right field. So for the blow it up crowd or the crowd that wants changes, I mean, you got 9 guys out there, 9 position players counting the DH every day. You could have 3 new guys next year. You could have a new third baseman. You will have a new right fielder. You will have Justin Crawford in there. So it's still 33% of the team on a daily basis is going to be different this next season than it was this season. That's still substantial changes. That might not be the changes, as much change as the fans want, but 33% is still 33%. It's not going to be the same team that you saw this year. There's going to be changes.
All right, we'll have more on this coming up Monday's show. Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressofatlanticcity.com. Check out his articles on the Phillies press conferences yesterday. His takeaways are over at pressofatlanticcity.com. Mike, enjoy the weekend.
All right, you too, guys. We'll see you down the road. Thanks.